Think about how fast things change, especially, technology. It's almost overwhelming sometimes.
Absolutely. It feels like it accelerates every year.
Now imagine trying to keep the people responsible for something as critical as national defense, right at the absolute cutting edge. That's a monumental challenge.
It really is. And when you consider the complexity of modern military systems, the need for constant upskilling isn't just important. It can be, a matter of national security.
Which is exactly why we're diving deep today into a fascinating development. It's a new initiative in Italy aimed at sort of supercharging their defense capabilities.
Right.
We're going to explore how spatial AI and XR, that's extended reality, virtual and augmented reality, are being used to transform military training over there. Our mission really is to understand how this is actually happening and, frankly, what the big deal is.
Yeah, and just so you know where we're getting this from, our source for this deep dive is information released by EON Reality. They're a company pretty deep in this area, this convergence of AI and immersive tech.
Okay, so setting the stage. Italy has a pretty significant defense budget, right? Nearly $30 billion. And they've got a clear focus on the Mediterranean, advanced air power, naval forces.
Yeah, they're investing heavily. We're talking new PPA multi-purpose patrol ships, the F-35 fighter jets, expanding their helicopter fleets, drones like the European Mail program, and boosting cyber defenses. These aren't simple push-button systems.
Not at all. They sound incredibly sophisticated, relying on complex networks, lots of human-machine interaction, I imagine.
Exactly, and operating and maintaining them. That demands a workforce with a very specific, constantly evolving skill set. Technical know-how, sure, but also human-AI collaboration, data analysis, understanding networked operations.
Right, and that's where the old ways of training might struggle a bit.
Yeah.
Classroom stuff, even standard simulators.
It can hit their limits, yeah. It's hard for traditional methods to provide enough safe, cost-effective training for these super complex systems, especially when you've got real-world operations happening constantly.
So closing that skills gap is... it's crucial for Italy to get the most out of these big investments and, handle security challenges in the Med.
Precisely. So the question becomes, how do you rapidly and effectively get personnel up to speed? And that's where EON Reality steps in with their AI Academy for Defense Italian Mediterranean Readiness Track.
That's quite a name. So what is it exactly? Break it down for us.
Okay, think of it as a whole package, a solution built around EON's spatial AI. It's an integrated ecosystem, basically, tailored specifically for the Italian Armed Forces training needs.
An ecosystem. All right, what are the key parts?
Well, at the heart of it is the EON XR platform. What's key here is security design for Italian national security protocols and its ability to let them quickly create and scale up interactive 3D training simulations.
For those specific Italian systems, the ships, jets, drones.
Exactly. The PPAs, F-35s, mail drones, NH-90 helicopters.
But the really transformative piece they highlight is this spatial AI text-to-XR capability.
Text-to-XR. What does that mean in practice? Okay, imagine this. You feed the AI Italian technical manuals, maybe standard operating procedures, or even just type in a text prompt describing a task. And the AI converts that text into an interactive XR learning module, according to them, in under 80 seconds. And importantly, in Italian.
Wow, okay. Under 80 seconds. That normally takes, months?
Years? Potentially, yes. It's a massive speed up for creating relevant training content, and it gives Italy sovereign control over that content.
That is a game changer. So beyond this fast content creation, what else is in this academy?
Right, the Specialized AI Academy itself. It's a dedicated program, a workforce pipeline focused on Italy's priorities, naval, aerospace, cyber, drones. It mixes that immersive XR simulation.
Like practicing on a virtual ship's combat system.
Right.
Or F-35 maintenance.
Exactly. Those kinds of hands-on virtual tasks, combined with AI that personalizes the learning path for each individual. They're even looking at micro-credentials. The whole point is accelerating practical skill mastery much faster.
So it adapts to the learner, not just one-size-fits-all simulation.
That seems to be the idea. They also include tools called the EON Career Guide and Compass.
Okay, what do those do?
These are AI tools to help personnel plan their careers, both within the military and maybe transitioning to the Italian defense industry. Later, companies like Leonardo, Fincantieri, they help spot skill gaps for new tech and map out development paths.
That's smart for retention and planning. And the last piece.
An AI-era Italian military curriculum. They're developing this with Italian military subject matter experts and industry partners like Leonardo and Fincantieri again.
So industry is involved in shaping the training too.
Yes, ensuring it aligns with the actual systems. And the curriculum isn't just technical stuff. It focuses on these newer AI-era skills. Managing integrated systems, cyber defense, human-machine teaming for drones, making decisions in complex Mediterranean scenarios.
Right, the context matters.
Absolutely. The whole ecosystem aims for hyper-realistic virtual scenarios reflecting Italy's specific environment. And they claim it can accelerate learning for these digital systems maybe up to 4 times faster.
4 times faster. That's significant. Okay, how does something like this actually get rolled out? Who needs to be involved?
It really relies on collaboration.
Yeah.
A nationally focused effort. You've got government and military leadership, the Ministry of Defense, the top brass, training commands. They set the strategy, define the requirements for the PPA, the F-35, ensure security, integrate it.
Makes sense. You need that top-level buy-in. Who else?
Then the defense industry champions Leonardo, Fincantieri, Elettronica, they're crucial. They know the skills needed for their systems. They can help validate the digital models, provide expert knowledge.
And potentially hire people trained this way later.
Exactly. Creates pathways. And they're also involving academic and research institutions. Think NATO Defense College in Rome, technical universities. They can be hubs for deployment, bring in pedagogical expertise, maybe do research.
A real partnership model. And where does the training actually happen? On bases?
It seems flexible. They mentioned deployment strategies compliant with Italian security regs, secure national cloud, or even on-premises. Options include dedicated AI academy centers near key bases like Toronto or La Spezia, or integrating it into existing military schools using mobile XR units and running train-the-trainer programs in Italian so they can sustain it themselves.
Got it. So pulling this together, what are the big wins for Italy's defense here? What's the key benefits they're aiming for?
Well, number one is probably accelerated readiness for those priority platforms, the ships, the jets, the drones. If you can cut training time potentially by 60% and get people mastering skills 4 times faster, that's huge.
Get skilled people operational much quicker.
Right, which directly boosts their effectiveness, especially in the med. Then there's better skill mastery and safety, aiming for really high qualification rates, like over 95%, but in a zero-risk virtual environment for dangerous tasks. Plus, better knowledge retention, they claim.
And presumably cost savings. Compared to traditional training, fuel, wear and tear.
That's another major point. Optimizing the return on those big defense investments by potentially reducing lifecycle training costs, maybe up to 65%, and improving how often equipment is actually available because training doesn't take it offline as much.
Okay, faster, safer, cheaper. What about future-proofing?
That's key too. Building an AI-ready force. Personnel who are comfortable with networked operations, human unmanned teaming, cyber defense, skills vital for working with NATO and EU partners, and it strengthens the bond with Italian industry.
We actually have a quote here from Dan Lajerskar, the chairman of EON Reality. He really connects Italy's strategic goals and tech investments with the need for this kind of training evolution.
What does he emphasize?
He talks about accelerating readiness, enhancing safety, improving interoperability, and highlights how crucial the partnerships with companies like Leonardo and Fincantieri are for Mediterranean security and wider European defense.
Yeah, it really shows how technology, training, and strategy are all linked up now.
So as we wrap up our deep dive here, what are the main takeaways? What should we remember from this?
I think the big thing is seeing this innovative use of spatial AI and XR to tackle a really critical skills gap in a major defense force. Italy needs its people skilled up on these complex, often AI-driven systems, and they need it fast.
Right. This isn't just theory, it's a practical application.
Exactly. It offers the potential for much faster, more effective, safer training. And that has real strategic implications for Italy in the Mediterranean and its role in alliances like NATO and the EU.
And for you listening, it's a pretty compelling example of how these advanced technologies, AI and XR, are being applied to solve very real-world, very high-stakes problems. The lessons here could potentially apply way beyond just defense.
That actually leads to a final thought. If this kind of AI-powered immersive training can make such a difference in a field as demanding and complex as defense, well, what could similar approaches do for other industries? Think healthcare, energy, manufacturing, any sector needing rapid upskilling for complex tasks.
What are the broader implications if knowledge transfer becomes this efficient, this immersive?
Exactly. It's definitely something to chew on.